Alright, well, I bet you're getting rather hungry, but we are not quite there yet. Let's look at a bread roll, butter, salt and pepper, shakers, as well as the bread basket. Now, if you remember, I said that your bread will be always placed to the left of your dinner plate. How do we eat the bread roll? Because the bread roll will be the first food item that is placed on your bread plate. And usually, this is the first item that we eat. And we make it look as elegant as possible. So, you will have your butter knife or a butter spreader, as well as the bread roll. So let's talk about the bread roll. The humble bread roll, but not so humble, because the bread roll will signal to your hosts and other guests if you really know what to do when it comes to fine dining. How you eat your bread roll signals to others about your manners. Now, most of the people will take this bread roll, will take the butter knife and start cutting it. Remember, this is a spreader knife. It's not for cutting. When it comes to bread rolls, we tear off a bite-sized chunk. It's about as big as half of your thumb, and we eat it. But before we eat it, if we like butter, we might want to put some butter on it and eat it. And then again, break off a small piece, take your own butter, butter it, and eat it. Never cut your bread roll. Never spread all the butter on your bread roll at once. Never cut it and put it back together. It is not a hamburger for sure. Now let's talk about butter. Most of the time, you will have your own individual butter dish, in which case it is okay to dip in as many times as you want to butter your roll. Fine, it's your own. Very rarely, but it could happen, the butter is communal, in which case you can only go for butter once. Remember, we never ever use our own cutlery to go into communal dishes. But since there isn't a communal butter spreader, it's just your own, you go in for the butter into the communal dish, you take as much butter as you want, and then you actually put it right at the top of your bread plate. And this is where you're then going to be buttering your bread roll from. Remember, you can't go in there again because of simply hygienic reason. We are still talking about our bread roll because most of the time you will have your own individual bread roll, but sometimes you might be faced with a bread basket. If it is placed in front of you, it is your responsibility to pick it up and to pass it to the right around the table, and only when the basket comes back home to you do you actually serve yourself. Remember, you serve others first to the right. We pass things to the right, usually at the dining table, and then you serve yourself and you place the basket where you found it.